Welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. I am your host, Jake.
I'm your host, Kyle. I'm back. The mustache is back. Jake, what are you drinking this week?
Well, you see, Kyle, I got my booster shot the other day, and it is kicking my ass a little bit. So I'm just out here vibing. I am drinking BioSteel Electrolyte Sports Hydration Mix. It is watermelon flavored. It's actually really good.
Sounds like off-brand Gatorade.
It basically is, but I got it for free when I bought a bunch of shaker cups, repping the Hawkeyes.
Hey, hell yeah.
One of them. If you want, the website that I bought this off of, I'm pretty sure the sale is still going on. It was like $30 for 10 shakers, and you could get
nice.
10 of these Iowa shakers if you want.
Huh.
I got like
You'll have to send me the link.
I got like 6 of them, and then I got an Iowa State one just to mess with them
Gross.
sometimes.
Get out of here.
But yeah, so I'm drinking electrolyte powder. How about you, Kyle?
Drinking water. Classic. I too got my booster, but I just got it today. But I am not going to nurse a hangover on top of what might be post-vaccine symptoms as well. So I am not going to be drinking this evening.
To be fair, we both drank the night of our actual shots. Like our
That's true,
first,
yeah.
I think it was both of our first shots. Might have been both of our second shots. I'm not sure.
I don't remember which
but
one, but
regardless,
yeah, we definitely did,
We
yeah.
did it, and neither of us really had symptoms for the actual vaccines.
Yeah, I'm going to play the safe side on this one, man.
That's probably the right call. I mean,
Based on what I've heard, people are having symptoms with boosters. At least, I've heard more people tell me that they've had some symptoms with the booster as opposed to shot 1 or shot 2. So
yeah, I've heard. Well, it's like again, it's every person's different. Like Jess has a slight headache. That's it. That's like all that she's had.
Of
The
course, yeah.
first day I was fine. Yesterday had a fever, a little bit of a cough, and today it's just like achy. Like I'm just sore. My neck's sore. I constantly feel like I have a pump, which is pretty cool, but also like I'm sore, so it's kind of meh. But besides that, I mean, it's really not that bad. Like as we've said a million times, get vaccinated, get boosted.
Yeah, get vaccinated.
Keep it going.
Boost.
You might as well.
Boost. I had a guy, I already told Jake about this, but one of the guys that I work with, I guess I don't really work with him, different office, doesn't matter. Anyway, he was like, "You're getting a booster shot? Isn't that for old people?" And I was like, God damn it.
Like,
People don't understand how immunities work.
Yeah, and also like your flu shot every year is essentially a booster. When with your other vaccines that you get, like I think it's your mumps vaccine. There's a booster. Tdap.
Yeah.
There's a booster. There's a tetanus booster. Like
Yeah,
we get
plenty of 'em.
boosters. It's just a thing that we do. It's not. I don't know. It's not for weaklings or people who are, only unhealthy or anything.
Right.
Like, also, like, I don't like the way I feel off of the booster. That tells me I definitely wouldn't like the way I feel with COVID.
Yeah,
Like,
right. That's the big thing.
I'm like the stereotypical, like, had man cold down for a week type of person.
Yeah.
Like, an actual
I'm a huge
thing
baby
that's-
when I'm sick.
Yeah, like something that's actually messing me up. Like, nah, put me out of my misery.
I don't know why my webcam's been just completely cloudy the last few times. I gotta figure it out.
I think so. Your arm of your mic is like slightly in the
that's what
screen
it
in the
is, though.
corner. I don't know.
I thought that at first, but then I've messed around with it since then. I don't know, dude. Doesn't matter.
Who knows? We'll
Not
figure
that
it
big
out
of a
one of
deal.
these days.
What if I go to like standard def and then back to high def? Boom. No better. Okay.
I almost want
Continuing.
to say standard def looked better.
I think so.
Like, I don't know. Maybe your webcam's a little faulty there.
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go back. Nah, I think they're about the same.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's any different at all.
Agreed. Mine looks pretty solid. I don't know. No complaints. on
Sometimes I
me.
think it's the lighting in your room just makes yours better.
Yeah,
but
even
I
though
could
like
be wrong.
it's funny that we say that because like Jess and I talk shit about the lighting in our apartment all the time. Like we think it's terrible, but like
Yeah, I
it
don't know, it just
works
seems
for
like
this
it's-
kind of thing.
Brighter and light or whatever in there. I don't know if it's LED bulbs or what.
Oh, we definitely don't have that. We've got the fucking tubes, like the tube
Oh, yeah,
lighting.
yeah.
They
Hey, some of
just-
those are LED now, actually, though, too.
Ours are not. I can promise you that. These things are ass, but they're free. So
That's fair. Free's free.
exactly. More importantly, before we get into the football topic of the week, Kyle, you see what that is in the background right there?
That is a delicious smelling candle.
It is. We went and bought more of them. We just bought
Did you?
like We just bought like 6 of them and some of the person who makes them other scents.
Nice. Yeah,
and like a
that's
couple
awesome.
competitor candles that were in the same shop to like test them out.
Nice.
Drove a fucking hour to spend $200 on candles.
It's a
It was
lot.
kind of great. I'm not
It's a
gonna
lot in
complain.
time and in money for candles.
Yes, but yes,
Hey man, whatever.
it's worth it. It's worth
Whatever
it.
works for
These
you.
are the best smelling candles. If you are in, I guess the if you ever go to the Village Peddler in Sandwich, Illinois, look for these candles. This is the friendship bread scent, and it will change your life forever. I've talked about it on this podcast before. Kyle and I have talked about it on here before as well.
Yep.
It's a
They
great
do
candle.
smell good.
Make sure you get one in
Solid.
your life if you can.
While you're about to take us into the NFL topic, or I am, I think, because
Yeah.
it's your first topic. So for my NFL topic, before I get there, let's just talk briefly for 5 seconds about how boring this fucking game is so far.
Yeah.
Punt, 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 field goal, punt, missed field goal, punt, 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 punt,
Punt,
punt,
punt,
punt,
punt, punt, punt, punt, punt.
This
And
game
I was-
sucks.
Isn't that in Plano? It might be, Kyle. Jess said it was a sandwich area code. It might be Plano.
Sorry, the candle place, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Dude, I have no idea. I don't think
Yeah,
looked it
I
up,
could
so.
I could look it up. It's probably Plano. I think Jess told me sandwich, but she's probably lying to me.
I thought you were kidding the first time you said sandwich, by the way. I had no idea that was a
No,
place.
it's an actual town.
Good for
It's
them.
actually it's pretty small.
Do
But
they have good sandwiches?
couldn't tell you.
They better.
You have to live up to the name.
You like go there and the only thing they have is like a Subway, and that's why they called it that. That'd be a tragic
think-
disappointment.
I think the town was around a little bit before Subway, but
No way. It was renamed. It was renamed when the sub sandwich place came to town.
oh man.
All right, dude.
NFL
For the
topic
real
of the
NFL
week.
topic, though, let's talk about Dalvin Cook. What does it mean? What are the implications of this? What are you going to do if he gets pulled from? Any number of ways that we can go with this, but Dalvin Cook's the topic, and I'll let you just run with it, and then I'll chime in.
So there's a few things to look at. Obviously, the allegations are very serious, and there's allegations being thrown around from both him and a female accuser, going both ways. It sounds like abuse was maybe going both ways in the relationship. Obviously, we don't have all of the details. It's all speculation, really, at this point.
Did you see the pictures that got tweeted out? Or
Yeah, a
whatever?
lot of people were saying that they were photoshopped.
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
don't know.
I saw it and went right past it after I glanced, so I'm not sure. I didn't look that far into it, but
Yeah, I'm not an expert. There's software that you can run stuff through to like tell when things have been edited. I don't have the skill set to do that, but
me neither.
I don't know. We looked at it. Oh, Kyle, Uncle Kyle, Jess just texted me. We didn't go to the Village Peddler. It was a place in Sandwich that actually had the candles. We went to the Village Peddler and they did not have this specific brand of candles. So that's where I was confused. It was my fault. Anyways, it happened. So when it comes to what I think is going to happen, I think the NFL is kind of showing their hand with the whole Deshaun Watson situation. Like, if there's not criminal charges, they're not going to do anything. And all we have right now, it's a civil lawsuit that's been filed against Dalvin Cook. So it's going to, like, it's obviously a serious situation, but the NFL has made it very clear how they're going to handle these situations. And if there's not a criminal case, they're not going to get involved.
That's why I'd almost go one step farther from you, because you said when there's no charges, they're not going to do anything. But I think it's actually like no conviction, because there were actually charges pressed against Deshaun Watson as well, right? Like he actually has open cases against him right now, I believe.
I think
Could
so,
be
but
wrong.
it's all like.
But again, I
think-
think they're kind of just going by the innocent until proven guilty mindset with these players, where they're like, until we see a guilty charge or a guilty verdict, then we're not going to do anything. So
I think the NFL decided to like hold off on anything because they delayed the case. Like they delayed the cases actually being heard until
Gotcha.
like late 22 or early 23 even. Like they're
Gotcha.
pushed off for a while. So I think that's probably part of it is just there's, the uncertainty of what's going to happen. Looking at it from like a fantasy aspect, he's going to keep playing every week. The NFL, like we kind of, said here, they're not going to do anything. Like, regardless of what your belief is on that, whether you think players should be punished or not, like the NFL is going to do what the NFL is going to do. They usually make the wrong decision. I'll be the first to admit it. As much as I love watching football and love the game of football, the NFL is terrible when it comes to decision making on a lot of things. I think that you're ultimately going to see nothing happen to Dalvin Cook unless criminal charges take place and he's convicted or charged, like seriously charged with something.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. The interesting thing to me is, from a fantasy perspective, Dalvin Cook is, he has struggled with some injury in the past too. So people are usually used to already having Alexander Madison on the bench to prepare for that, especially as it gets later in the season. You get closer to the playoffs and making sure you have that handicap there and the handcuff for yourself. But I picked up Alexander Madison in a league where I'm very dependent on Dalvin Cook. So, I mean, it is a worthwhile pickup in my opinion to say, hey, at least until we hear a little bit more, because this is the first week where we're starting to hear some of this come out in the news. So it's probably not a bad idea if you're a Dalvin Cook guy and you've got some room on your bench to throw him and stash him. As far as any other implication, though, like I agree with Jake. I don't think this is going to go anywhere this season. I think probably what we're going to see is the litigation play out throughout the season and maybe see some more of the actual either verdict or dismissal of the case or whatever once we get closer to the end of the season. Uncle Kyle said business and money over morals, which is actually it's true on both sides too. So not only like the NFL dealing with it that way, but the player too, because there's a chance too that Dalvin Cook pays out, the accuser and defendant simultaneously at the same time, and just pays him off, makes a deal on the side. That happens all the time with NFL players, so we could see that happen too. It's hard to say, but the big thing is if you didn't know and you're a Dalvin Cook player in fantasy football, be on the watch for that. And I'd say get your insurance back earlier than later.
And if you don't have Dalvin Cook on your roster, make sure you try and get Alexander Madison, because
I would be less urgent with it personally, because I think that we both agree that it's probably not going to happen this year, right? So if I have to drop somebody off my bench that I might need in favor of like Alexander Madison, who I think probably won't become the primary without an injury, then probably not going to do it. Was it God damn it. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't be as urgent if I was a guy that was trying to snag him out from under the feet of the Dalvin Cook guy, but you definitely can.
I still think he should just be rostered. Like he's one of the few backups in the NFL that's really shown like high upside when they get into the game. He had a 20-some point week the week Dalvin missed. So, I think there's enough upside there that, especially if you're rostering like two defenses or two quarterbacks and single QB, like, or if you have multiple tight ends and two of them are ass, like, just get rid of some dead weight somewhere. Like if you've really been under a rock and you still got Henry Ruggs chilling on your bench, like, get him out of there. Like there's ways
on that news, but
there's ways to get quality backups on your bench. And this is what, it sucks that we like play a game where we can like, we're using a terrible situation to our benefit, but that's just how the game is played sometimes. If there's a chance that a player is going to miss time for whatever reason, you need the contingency plans in place.
Dude, I will say very definitively, like fuck Henry, like fuck Ruggs.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck that guy. I've heard some people, to include Derek Carr, come out and they're like, this dude needs some love right now. I'm like, nope, fuck him.
I get what Derek Carr is saying.
I do too, but I don't care.
Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, if you get behind the wheel of a car,
you got hammered,
two times over the legal limit,
and fucking killed people.
Yeah, a person and a dog, hurt yourself, hurt your girlfriend, had a illegal weapon in the car. Like, you're breaking laws all over the place. Like, you have just a giant like, you are a multi-million-dollar NFL player. You can afford a fucking Uber.
Yep.
I can afford an Uber, and I make way less. His game checks are probably like 5 times what I make.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For a week.
One quick thing we can address. We can talk, I guess, as long as you want about this if you want, but just quickly, it's worth mentioning that OBJ just signed with the Rams since that news did come out today. So I kind of threw a text to Jake when I found out, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I think OBJ is absolutely, man, great for him. He's trying to get on a winning roster and get the W. I think the Rams are in win now mode. I don't think they needed to sign OBJ, which is why I was confused why they went out and did it. They basically used the rest of their cap that they had to sign a player that they didn't need. And so I'm a little confused by the decision, but at the same time, win now mode, they're focused, and I think it might be helpful. Jake mentioned that he thinks, obviously OBJ is better than Van Jefferson. Agreed. Just don't know that it was necessary.
I just think you don't really often have the chance to have an impact player join your team at this point in the season. Sure. And he is a marked improvement over arguably even Robert Woods at this point. Like, there's a pretty good chance that OBJ ends up playing that X receiver role that Robert Woods has traditionally kind of played. And you see Woods playing more on the outside. Kupp stays in the slot a little bit more frequently in 3 wide sets. And while I agree with you, like, there's, in my opinion, better ways to spend your remaining cap space. Like, you know, if you have injuries come up or anything like that.
Right.
But
that's the big thing.
especially with OBJ, like, I'm pretty sure he had like a pretty severe shoulder injury not all that long ago. Like, he's good chance.
I saw
he
a
still
tweet that was
misses a few
talking about how
games.
they were surprised that he passed a physical to get onto the team because he's been, you know, struggling with an AC joint for weeks now.
And maybe he's you know, taking a few weeks off. Like, maybe he's healthy or healthy enough now, or they just were like, yeah, your physical's fine. Like, you're OBJ, where we don't care about your physical all that much.
I'm sure that's part of it too. But
and I think he does add something to the team that they're missing. Like, he's still winning his routes very, very frequently. Matt Harmon, if you've never looked at his stuff, he works for Yahoo and does this thing called the reception perception, where he basically looks at all of the routes that players run throughout the year and charts the success rate at which he beats these certain coverages or beats routes. Beats the defensive back on routes against certain coverages, against man coverage and zone coverage. And the rate at which he is winning routes in 2021 is comparable to like 2020 Michael Gallup, 2020 DJ Moore. Like, he's still winning routes at an elite rate, honestly. And it's clear he didn't work in Stefanski's offense in Cleveland, but he's still a very talented receiver. He's still good at football, and Matt Stafford throwing him the ball in an offense that's meant for pass catchers to succeed, he's gonna produce a lot more than he was in Cleveland. And this, honestly, Los Angeles is gonna have to find a way to cut some cap space moving forward. This could be a way for them to re-sign OBJ to a friendly deal, cut Robert Woods, get out from under his contract, which is still going on for like 4 more years. They have an out for the 2022 or going into the 2022 year. So there's an out in the contract already for them to take advantage of if they want to, or they'll just continue to trade picks for players and
I would be willing to buy that a little bit more if they had pushed for a multi-year deal with OBJ, but since they didn't, partially because they just didn't have the money, I would imagine looking forward that they weren't willing to make that deal right now. But I think if we would have seen the rumors of a multi-year deal with the Rams, that I'd be more on board with that. But I think this is more of, you know, let's throw him out there, see what he does. If he helps us make it to the playoffs and win, then we'll figure it out probably. And then maybe they do look into the Robert Woods cut, or, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I don't know. I think this is a win now. Let's get him for the year, pay him the money, and then I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on either.
Yeah, definitely possible.
Uncle Kyle mentioned Aaron Rodgers in the chat. We can talk about that briefly if you want. I think I don't have that much to say, honestly. He didn't do what he needed to do to get vaccinated and, you know, keep the team playing games with him as the quarterback. And now they had to play with Jordan Love, and you saw how that worked out for him. So dude should have gotten vaccinated. The fact that he's like using Joe Rogan as his advisor is borderline hilarious to me, but it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is fucking his own team, and that's on his shoulders. He can piss and moan about the NFL all he wants, but this is his fault. So
yeah, like he handled it as poorly as he could have too. Like, just get vaccinated. If you're allergic to it, guess what? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine was there. You admitted that you're not allergic to something in there. You didn't do it because you saw people having side effects. Like, guess what? Side effects are a thing with everything that you do. Side effects are effective COVID. He even said, he's like, I'm an athlete. I have to make sure my heart's okay now. Like, yeah, well, if you got the vaccine, probably wouldn't have affected your heart the way that it could as actual COVID. We have scientific studies that have shown you're more likely to have heart problems from COVID than the COVID vaccine. Like, his excuses were just bad, and the way that he pretended he was vaccinated is, I think, the biggest issue. Like, he just lied.
He just tried to It's not even like that he blatantly was like, I am vaccinated. He was like, I'm immunized, and now he's trying to say that the meaning of that is very different. And can be you know, it's just, come on, dude.
Yeah, it was just a poorly handled situation. He's the one who has to deal with the repercussions. If I'm his teammates, I'm a little upset with him, but
it's no secret that we're vaccine supporters. So between the two of us, so know that if you're questioning what we think about Aaron Rodgers, I think he's an idiot. But
we should have just gotten vaccinated. Probably. I'll say that about every NFL player, every person. Like, if
we've been saying, everybody.
If you can get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Just do it. Like, this goes away quicker, and this becomes less of an issue the more people get vaccinated. That's how herd immunity works. Herd immunity is effective when like 98% of the people are vaccinated. If we can get there, we're going to be fine. But until then, mask up until people are vaccinated.
Yeah, which we're not seeing that either, unfortunately, but so be it. All right, man. That's it. That's all I got for NFL. That's mostly. I think we hit basically everything that we've missed over the last couple of weeks in terms of the big stories. Calvin Ridley's the one that maybe we didn't talk about. Don't really need to. Dude's taking a break. Let him get out there, get his own mental health together, and he'll come back hopefully. So
yeah, get your brain right, get everything going good, and get
everything
healthy
else
and get out there.
About, though.
Yeah.
So hit me, man. What's topic number one? Let's hear it.
All right. So I'm maybe a little bit in my feels. Jess is out of town right now. I miss her. If she's watching, love you. I miss you. But I wanted to talk about what are some of the things that you think are underrated aspects of marriage that people don't talk about frequently. I think that you always hear about the good and the bad of marriage, but what are some things, maybe it can be marriage in general or your specific marriage, that you think like you didn't realize would be the way it is until you were married?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm chewing ice. Tell me if that's loud. I just am an ice chewer and I can't help it. But
I can hear the crunch. I wouldn't call it loud.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I think people underrate having a companion all the time. Like, I think, especially in the pandemic, this was probably highlighted a lot, right? I mean, like, loneliness is a killer, dude. And so when you find somebody that you love to be with and that's your best friend and you hang out with that person literally on a daily basis all the time, that probably gets taken for granted a lot too, I think, in most relationships. So I would say that is definitely an underrated piece of a marriage. And I think it's different too from like just cohabitating, you know what I mean? Like, or having roommates. It's not the same. Like, having somebody around you all the time isn't the same as spending, quality time or just time in general with the person that you like to spend the most time with. So
having somebody that just cares around you like that, just having a support system that's constantly there for you regardless of what's going on. Like,
yeah, dude.
When like I'm stressed about work, like I can talk to Jess. When I'm having a great day, I can talk to Jess. Like I can, it's a great thing to have, like having somebody who cares about you and having the ability to be around them constantly. Cause it's so different too. Like when you grow up and you're around your parents and your siblings and everything, like they love you, they care about you, but it's a different dynamic with a spouse. And
very much so.
I agree wholeheartedly that that's one of the more underrated aspects. I also like just having somebody around to do things with. Like, I don't like to do the dishes. I don't like to do laundry. I don't like to vacuum. But like when Jess is there and we're both cleaning at the same time and we're both doing stuff together, like we're 100% more productive than we would be doing those things separately. Like just
embracing the suck together.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Embracing the suck. Like, just we're like, you know what? Let's just both, instead of one of us being miserable for an hour and then the other one of us being miserable for an hour, let's both be miserable for like 25 minutes. Just knock it out. And you just get shit done quicker, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good one in there too, in that between the two of those things, right? Like, I think not only just the person to be there, but it's a little underrated that you can have somebody that's willing to just hear you out even when like they don't understand it necessarily, but you just need to get that shit off your chest. Like for me with work, like I don't really talk about the specifics of my work ever, but sometimes I can just come home and be like, today sucked. It was terrible. And then I just like say some shit that, doesn't mean anything to her probably most of the time in terms of like what the actual content of the conversation is. But she's like, yeah, that sounds like it was terrible. And then, having that continuous support system is great too.
Yeah, and like there's things at work that I just, for confidentiality reasons, like I can't talk about it.
Right.
And it's the same thing where I can be like, hi, I can't tell you the details of what I'm talking about, but I need you to know what I'm going through is bullshit and I hate it. Yeah. And like just having somebody like where you can just, and the best part about it is like I can just vent and then it's done. Like it doesn't need to be dragged out into like a 2.5 hour conversation. Like you can just get something off your chest with your spouse and you're just like, all right, cool. Let's make dinner now. Like,
yeah.
What else?
Yeah. I have the exceptional benefit of having a really crafty wife, so I can say that I think that is underrated in any relationship, especially since I am the ultimately not crafty person. And kind of hand in hand with that is I'm a terrible gift giver, so I think it's very underrated that I have someone that's an excellent gift giver in my life all the time, so that I can have somebody A, remind me to give gifts, but B, help make them actually reasonably good,
Right.
as opposed to the shit that I'd probably do if I was on my own. But yeah, having like the T-shirt that you're wearing right now, right? Like that wouldn't exist, at least not in the same way that it does if it wasn't for her. So
Right.
the crafty aspect is great too.
Definitely. I like, and
Maybe
maybe
really quick, I'm going to cut you off because I just thought of what I'm trying to get out of my head when I say that is having somebody that has opposite strengths of you, right?
Yeah.
I think is underrated because like I have a bunch of things that I'm really weak at, and she is strong at most of those, if not all of them. So having us kind of blend together to make that shit work is super underrated.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and that's like how Jess and I are. Like she's very good at making lists. She's very good at being like, all right, we have to do this, this, and this. And I'm much more of a like, if I see something and feel like doing it, I'll do it. And then
Same.
otherwise, like
Yeah, same.
If it's not something that needs to be done right now, I'm not going to do it. Like,
right, yeah.
I prioritize by what needs to be done right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's definitely an underrated aspect of marriage. I mean, people always say like opposites attract, but you don't know what that means until you're in like a serious relationship.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is super underrated is having a spouse who will like push you outside of your comfort zone. And that could be with anything. That could be with like tasks. That could be with like, I'm very introverted, which surprises some people, isn't a surprise to others. I'm a very extroverted introvert. Like when I take the Myers-Briggs test, it's like 51% introvert, 49% extrovert. But it also could be advertised as an introverted extrovert regardless. Like I don't like to go and do things. I don't like to go places. I'd like much rather just like be at home, have people come over here, hang out with people at home, like play video games with you guys. Like I'd rather
become that way later in life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm just more of that type of person. Jess is the opposite. Jess like loves to go places, loves to do things, loves to try new things. And like having that is like made me more like that. Like I enjoy doing things more now than I did when I met her. And also from like, we've talked about it on here and Kyle, like I'm a super picky eater, and Jess has like very much forced me out of my comfort zone when it comes to food choices. And I very much appreciate it because I found a lot of things that I really like.
And you're still crazy picky.
I've
come out of my shell a lot too. Carl's done that to me as well.
I don't think I would call myself crazy picky anymore. I think I'm like your average picky eater. I'm not like,
if you say so.
Like I know some people at work.
You don't like condiments, Jake.
I like condiments.
You know how depressing that is?
I like condiments.
You know,
no,
you don't.
I'll name every condiment I like right now. I like ketchup, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce. I'll get
that's the extent.
I'll get like, I don't know, like sometimes I like salt and vinegar chips. Like those are cool sometimes. What else would be considered a condiment? Like mayo? Mayo sucks. Ranch sucks.
Mustard? You hate mustard?
I hate mustard.
Don't like ranch? You eat your cheeseburgers plain?
I respect a good burger. You don't need to add anything to it, Kyle.
Yeah, if you say so.
Anything else? What else you got?
Those are the big ones, because when I start thinking about other stuff, I can't really say that it's underrated, because I feel like those are things that I commonly hear, right? Like somebody that's always challenging you, like kind of what you were getting at with, pushing you to different types of foods and everything. Like I think that's something that people appreciate in almost any relationship. Like I think that's something that you intentionally seek out most of the time, is somebody that's going to push you and challenge you and get you to the next level. And yeah, so I think like those are all the great things, but there's, for the pure underrated things, I probably hit on the couple that I was thinking of.
You know what's a good thing, a very underrated thing to have in a relationship?
What's that?
Somebody who will call you on your bullshit. Like when you're being out of line, like having somebody to just be like, hey, take a step back, shut the fuck up.
Sometimes that's the fucking worst though, because it's like one of those moments where you're like, I got to get this shit off my chest, and they're like, no, you fucked up. And you're like, God damn it. I don't want to hear that shit. And then you think about it, like, God damn it, I know I fucked up. Those are the worst. But you're right, it is.
But I need to know when I fucked up, otherwise I won't.
You do,
know.
yeah.
Like
you do for sure.
Yeah, I think that's super underrated.
Yeah,
and then
that's good.
I think another underrated aspect of relationships in general is being the one who has those strengths that the other person doesn't. Like it just feels cool. Like I'm the one who cooks in our house. I cook pretty much every meal that we cook. It's me. And it's just
We
like
both
cool.
hate cooking.
It's cool to be like, yeah, I cook stuff. I'm the cook in the house.
Dude, we've gone back to HelloFresh almost exclusively because we both hate cooking and they make it so simple. And this is
Right.
not a paid advertisement, but I do actually really like HelloFresh.
Hey,
However,
man, we'll
I
send
got to
them a
call them
DM.
out on their bullshit. So listen to this shit. And I think Carly tweeted about it, so you might have already seen
Yeah,
this.
I did.
But so we get this shipping notification, right? And it's like, hey, your box is on the way. And we're like, fuck yeah, gonna get some new food. And then I get a message the day that it was supposed to be delivered, and it's like, hey, it's gonna be delayed. Don't worry, we keep it in like these, very well packaged containers. It's gonna keep cool. It's not gonna spoil. Like, okay, cool. That's a little sketchy, but no worries. Then the next day, I get another message. It's like, you're not gonna get food this week. I'm like, what the fuck?
What
It's
if
like,
that was my only food?
right, and we are relatively dependent on that when it comes to our dinners because like we are, we're both working now, so we get home and neither of us really want to cook, and we just those are
Yeah.
easy enough that we can just flip a coin and one of us is going to make some food. And so they send me the email and they're like, yeah, sorry, you're not getting food this week. Oh, by the way, you can have a free fucking garlic bread, and that's the entire compensation that we get for being absent our food. We're like, you guys are so full of shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. Well, Kyle, way to ruin our potential sponsorship with HelloFresh there.
Hey man, we'll go to somebody else. Give me a Blue Apron. Blue Apron, come get
All
me.
right, Blue Apron. You
Come
heard it
get
here
me.
first, folks.
There's a lot of other fucking food boxes, man. And I'll
That's
probably
true.
still keep getting HelloFresh. I'm just annoyed by that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that I've been annoyed by that I'm still going to keep using their services or
Yeah.
anything. But yeah,
Yep. Call of Duty.
Kyle and I have been playing a lot of Vanguard pubs today
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yesterday. Well, I've been playing over the past couple days.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, we keep hating it. We keep coming back for more.
Doesn't matter. Yep. The series got us. It's got us both. Halo's going to be good, though, hopefully. Maybe I can transition over to a little bit of that when that comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. I was originally excited for it, and now I'm just kind of like indifferent. Dane just bought the Halo the Halo keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Logan said Vanguard sucks.
Saw that. I wonder if, Logan, have you actually played it? I mean, feel free to chime in the chat. He posted that in the chat here, but I'm curious what people have experienced with the actual gameplay, because I think it actually plays pretty smooth. I don't hate it. There are certain aspects, like any new game, where they have to work out the kinks in the balance.
Yeah.
It's tough to work through that, and I think that'll take some time, just like it has with any other game. But I do like the experience of the gameplay. I saw a tweet recently about how somebody was saying essentially that it doesn't stand itself out enough from any of the other games over the last couple releases, enough to be like a great, excellent title. But it's still going to be fun to play, I think, and I'm looking forward to what they do with the Warzone. I don't think it's laggy. I don't know what Logan's talking about. Your internet probably sucks.
Logan, you know the internet at home at our parents' house sucks, so that we're gonna give them off. And I actually disagree with you. I think the time to kill is weirdly way too fast for other people, but way too slow for me. Like it's just
I'd say it's
inconsistent.
unpredictable as
Yeah.
opposed to way too long. It is an unpredictable time to kill, and I think it's very weapon based. And as Jake has kind of talked to me about and alluded to as well, if you're playing as a day 5 player as opposed to a day 1 player, the balance is so difficult in matchmaking, because everyone with their attachments and the way that their guns are already built, it's so difficult to compete right off the bat.
Yeah, like I've always been like a 2 or 3 KD player in Call of Duty pubs. And then in this game, like I just can barely break 1. Like I'm just so far behind. Like as I'm unlocking attachments, like I've finally got the main AR in the game to a point where it's usable.
Yeah.
And now I'm like more consistently having like 2 or 3 KD games, which it's like, I don't know. There needs to be a way to like balance that. Like as much as I hate skill-based matchmaking, like I think it is important in that first like 2 or 3 weeks of the game to have it, just because like people who've been playing for 5 days know the map, know the guns, have everything unlocked.
Yeah, you're at a disadvantage if you don't start day 1, because the day 1 players are the ones that are going to grind, right? Like those guys are all fucking going nuts on this game, so it's going to take a little bit for everybody else to kind of catch up. And there'll be patches and updates and everything like that that'll help out with the balance and everything. Because like, Logan's saying in the comments now too that Tarkov, the TTK, is like incredibly consistent. Sure it is. That game's been around for a very long time, and it's been in beta for fucking ever, but they've had a plenty of opportunities to develop that and make that consistent in a solid gameplay over time. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
It's also
it's like the Warzone time to kill is so much more consistent than Vanguard, obviously. You know what I mean? So that's no surprise.
That's what I'm really interested to see, is like how the Vanguard guns get incorporated into Warzone. Because like right now, I don't see any of them competing.
That's what we said, though, I think, about when Cold War was coming out. I'm pretty sure neither of us were excited for when those guns were going to drop into the game, and then they did a great job of
They did.
implementing them.
But I don't know, because I almost feel like they made the Cold War guns. The meta turned into only Cold War guns for a while.
Yeah, it did. But again, that's kind of what we're talking about. And this is kind of turned into a topic, and that's fine. But it's the same concept, right? Where you introduce something new into a pool that has been already built up and is consistent. So Warzone was already established. They had consistency and everything. And then you throw a massive inject of different weapons and everything into the game. And of course, there's going to be a difficulty. It was going to be one or the other, right? They're going to either be all the guns are going to be terrible, or they're going to be too good.
Yeah,
one way or the other. And they just were on the side of too good, and then they clean that up over time too. So
yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think what a lot of people don't like is when you fight for the balance so bad that you just neutralize everything. Like everything is the same, which you do want to deviate away from that a little bit. You don't want it to be like a pay to win situation or anything like that, especially in a war zone. But you do need to figure out how you're going to manage the balance, and I think it'll get there. That's kind of like my bottom line is I think Vanguard's fine right now. I like the way that it plays, and I think it'll get better. So
yeah, honestly, my biggest complaint is really just the maps. Like some of the maps are really, really good. Some of them are terrible.
Bad.
And
whatever that 9-lane fucking game, that map that we were playing right at the end when we were playing earlier, that was so bad.
Yeah, I don't know the name of any of the maps on this game, but if people have played the game, it's the one that's more of like the kind of trench warfare map. With like the underground tunnels on the left and right side and a lot of bamboo and stuff. Like it's that map. I hate it. I always start off really good and then everything goes to shit, which is pretty much the story of mine and Kyle's experience on that map.
I did hear, I saw a Twitch streamer or some shit like that post on Twitter that the zombies was absolutely terrible. And they said if you wanted to play the zombies, then you should just wait. So Logan, you're probably validated in that opinion. I think a lot of people feel that way. So
I think everybody feels that way. Like I have not heard one good thing about zombies.
I do not play zombies, so I have no idea what the issue is.
Yeah, they changed the way that it's played basically, and it just got even more repetitive than it already was. That's the biggest complaint that I've seen. Like it's already super repetitive gameplay style, like game style.
Sure, yeah.
And they just made it worse. So
that's good.
Do you want to count that as your second topic? I don't think it was.
First topic?
Or yeah, your first topic.
It can be. I guess it's kind of a segue. We've got time. We can just lead into my first topic if you want. And then if we run out of time, I'll just call that my first topic.
Cool. Perfect. Let's do that.
Sweet. Well, do you want to go to yours then? Or do you want me to just go ahead? I'll go ahead.
Yeah,
right.
just
So my first topic, since it's coming up and quickly, as we're getting there, right? So we're leading up pretty quickly to Thanksgiving. We'll have another episode before then. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on Black Friday. And kind of how that's transitioned in our lifetime and from what it used to look like to what it is now.
Black Friday used to be awesome, and now I just think it kind of sucks. Like, maybe I'm looking at that from the perspective of like the things that I would want to get on Black Friday, either one, aren't going to be in stock anywhere, or two, I can just get them online. Like the Cyber Monday sales are just as good. There's sales that are constantly run throughout the year. Like there's very few sales on Black Friday that are like true differentiators for me that make it worth like really going out for it.
I think the interesting thing is, like, I think it'd be valuable for us to talk about the way that it's transitioned from when you probably are used to it as like you're, high school and younger or whatever, or, around that time frame to what it is now. Cause I remember back when we used to go, when I was middle school, high school, maybe early college too, it was very, very definitive what Black Friday was going to look like. Mm-hmm. You were going to have your ads come out from your stores, right? It was all your fucking giant, you'd get your Sunday newspaper that was this thick, and you were so excited because you'd get this massive thing of ads and you could start looking through and you'd circle all the shit that you wanted or whatever, right? So you'd get your picks in, and then what you'd know is that when you go to the store, right, to go pick something up, there's going to be a pallet or whatever in the middle of the aisle. Everything's going to be released at the same time, and you're going to have to go and fucking duke it out with somebody to get that one computer or what have you, TV or whatever that's at this single pallet, and it would be pretty concentrated in those stores. Sometimes it wouldn't be on pallets, like it'd be on the shelves still or whatever, and just be marked down. But generally speaking, it'd be concentrated into a single area where they'd have like pallets full of shit, and you'd go in there and get your stuff.
Right.
And then now I think it's transitioned a lot because now you have these hybrid deals where sometimes you don't need to go to the store at all, even on Black Friday. It doesn't need to be Black or Cyber Monday. Even on Black Friday, you can get Black Friday deals online, right? So it's transitioned to a little bit more of that, and I think COVID has helped to change that a little bit too and push it even more digital because they weren't allowed to even open some of these stores, and they didn't want to have the high concentration of people rushing in on, and potentially risking the spread of COVID. So I think you're seeing a digital transition in Black Friday anyway. So you kind of have two Cyber Mondays now anyway. One of them is just on Friday,
Right.
and one of them's on Monday. But then even that has changed. In the in-store portion has changed as well, because you're seeing this weird transition, or at least I have. I haven't actually gone in the last couple of years, so my opinions are probably mostly invalid on this anyway. But you'd go into the store and they do like timed release. It's like if you walk in at midnight expecting to go get this one thing that you really wanted, and then like
They may not be
obviously
selling
you know
it till
ahead of
2.
time, but yeah, they do these weird drops like at
Yeah.
Walmart where they'd pull a pallet out like every hour of things, which actually kind of made it harder sometimes to get the stuff that you wanted, because it used to be that you'd have 20 pallets in an aisle and you'd have to go, well, I really want this one thing, so I'm going there first, and then the second thing that I want, if I come back and there's some left, great, but if not, fuck it, I got the one thing that I wanted.
Right.
And now it's just weird, like strategically it's weird, and it's probably good for the store too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It keeps people in the store longer, shopping longer. I don't know, man. But the big thing for me is I think it's funny because we've seen this transition, and I think it's actually made it more difficult to take advantage of the Black Friday deals for me personally, and for multiple reasons. So like if you look at Amazon and the way they do it, and I hate the way Amazon does sales in general, but I really hate the way they do Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because they make it so convoluted to find the sale items, because it'll be like, oh, hey, look at all this, the for sale items on Black Friday. And you go and you look at it, and it's just like 4,000 pages of trash.
Right.
And they don't highlight items, and they like categorically will sort things, but even then it's a bunch of just like trash, and you have to just weed through all of this garbage, and then you don't ever actually know if it's on sale or not.
Right.
It was so much easier in the past to go, I know that this PlayStation is $350 at the store. On Black Friday, it's going to be $250. It's a clear-cut deal. It's easy. I'm in and I'm out. I'm getting that shit. And It's just not like that anymore, which is why I don't fucking like Black Friday at all anymore either. I think it's become this mess of advertising and, just trying to get people to buy things that are probably not on sale and just get tons and tons of crap. And I don't know. I think Black Friday is largely ignorable anymore to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, also, like, the number of emails that I have right now that are like, our Black Friday sales are on,
Starting now.
happening now,
Yeah.
or they're like,
it's
if you buy
crazy.
like Best Buy does it. I want to say Home Depot does it. Don't quote me on that one, but there's a bunch of stores where like, if you buy something now, they will put a guarantee on it through Black Friday. So if it does go on sale on Black Friday, they will give you the difference back.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's so it's hard to keep up with, and that's why it's really convoluted for the customer to try to get the best deal, because you don't know if you are, and some of those price match guarantees, right? Like if you pay attention and it goes to a lower price, like great, that's cool. Like I'm glad the stores are doing that. Like they're saying, hey, if you buy it now and on Black Friday it's cheaper, we'll give you the deal or like the difference. That's awesome if people are doing that. But at the same time, it's just so hard to keep up with any of this shit. And I hate it, man. And even in the classic days, like you look at the classic days of Black Friday, and people were literally like fucking dying on Black Friday because they'd get trampled in a crowd. Or there was I think it was the year PlayStation 3 came out. Somebody got like shot over a PlayStation 3, or multiple people that year or something. It's just ridiculous, man. And I don't know why they can't just be straightforward in their advertising. Like, make it easy again. Go back to a single day, maybe, instead of spreading it out over like 3 weeks, or like the 21 days of deals or whatever. I don't know. I hate Black Friday now, basically.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be. And like, it used to be cool to like go to the mall on Black Friday, because you just go in there at midnight and then you'd be there, and it'd be every store would have a sale, so you could just like knock out all of your shopping in one day and go to this place and that place. And now it's just like Target
carries an
experience. Yeah. Like Target carries everything. Walmart carries everything. Amazon has everything. Like there's just, it's not this, like the landscape of consumerism has changed in general, and that's made Black Friday largely redundant.
Yeah. It kind of sucks. We used to go to the Williamsburg Outlet Mall. I don't know if you've ever been there. We'd go there on Black Friday.
Random insertion.
Random.
The Williamsburg McDonald's has the best French fries in the entire world.
We might have talked about this before.
We have. Every time we would drive to our lake house in Iowa, we would stop there and get French fries.
Yeah, that's funny. We love that place.
It's great.
And it was crazy too, because it's an outlet mall, right? So on Black Friday, like it's outlet prices at a discount, which means it was hella cheap. Like you could get tons and tons of awesome shit on Black Friday at the outlet mall.
Yeah.
Loved it. That was an experience.
Yeah, as Logan points out too, the sales just like aren't what they used to be. Like they used to be like this TV is half off. Now it's like here's $50 off a TV, here's $20 off a laptop. Like they're no different than the sales that they're running year round.
The interesting thing I think about that too is that you've seen a massive explosion and expansion of the number of manufacturers that are producing these types of products. Like with gaming consoles, it's a little bit more difficult to point to that, right? Because you still have your Sonys and your Microsoft and PC parts or whatever, and your Nintendo shit. Like it's pretty concentrated still into a few different companies. But with TVs, there's like fucking an absurd amount of TV manufacturers, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I haven't bought anything other than like a Vizio TV in, I don't know, forever. Like ever since Vizio came out, I've been buying Vizio TVs because I used to be broken. I just bought them because they're cheap, and now the quality of those TVs has dramatically gone up.
Yeah.
And they're keeping up with some of the other manufacturers. And so for me, it's like I'm just going to go for the cheap TV anyway.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to buy that Element Insignia, like whatever like the in-house brand is for the different retailers, like whatever it is, that cheap TV, that 75-inch TV for $350 that they have 6 of in store. If I'm there and I happen to get one, cool. If not, well.
Yeah, I remember the last time I went to Black Friday, I think was maybe 4 years ago or something like that. And when we went, I remember there was a line at the Target that had started like with like people camping outside, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then they came out and there was maybe 10 or 15 TVs, right? That were this part of this Black Friday deal. It was like a 55-inch TV. And they just walked out with these tickets and like went to the first 15 people in line and gave them these tickets. And like, you get the TVs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if anybody is behind person number 15 and you wanted the TV, you can just go home. It's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's such a shitty experience, you know? It's just not the same anymore. I hate it.
It happened to my dad one time, except he was the guy who got the ticket. He's like, I wasn't even here to buy the TV, but I'll take it.
Yeah, fuck it.
He's like, it's a good deal.
I think it was an incredible deal with that year too. It was like, it was when 55-inch TVs were the bee's knees, and I think it was like $200 for like a nice 55-inch. It was something stupid.
Yeah, it was.
Which is why, like, I agree that most of the deals aren't that good, but they do have those 1 or 2 deals that are like super good. But then it's so limited and ticketed, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's. Oh, and that's another thing too. Like, I don't know. There was always like the fun aspect of like, will I get there while they have this in stock?
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna just order it online. Like, the fun of Black Friday is even gone.
I think Cyber Monday actually pisses me off more though, because like you said, the deals are probably pretty consistent on Cyber Monday, but I think it's even more convoluted for the consumer experience, where it's just so hard to find out, is this even a deal, or did you just like throw a red tag on it and say this is a deal? It's very difficult, and there's some apps and like websites that are out there dedicated to like marking price changes over time, and you can look into that kind of shit. But if you just want to look at like an ad of show me the goddamn deals that are actual deals, and then I'll make a decision on whether I want to purchase it or not. It's so difficult to do that anymore.
Yeah, and I've even seen some retailers get accused of like raising their prices prior to Black Friday, so that they could lower them to retail on Black Friday.
It's just harder for you to
market it as a sale.
I think that has happened for a very long time. It's just harder to see when it's happening now because of the way it's been, moved over to the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't tell you enough how much I hate the Amazon sales shopping experience. I hate it so much, and maybe it's just me, but I think it is a nightmare to try to find deals on Amazon.
Oh, I know. On like Prime Day.
Yep,
it's such a pain in the ass.
Unless you're buying an Amazon product on Prime Day, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
and it's like the lightning deals or whatever that'll hit, and it's like 30, 40, 50 pages of just shit that you'd never want, and it's garbage. And then
yes, I was going on Amazon to buy a shitty flashlight, a pair of leggings, and leftover socks.
It's like the as seen on TV section.
Yeah, literally.
I mean? It's like, it's awful. I hate it.
It's shit that you don't need, and you'll but you might just buy it because you see it and you're like, why not? Yeah. I bought a milk frother that way. It's right here. I use it to stir my pre-workout. Like,
those things can be kind of legit though.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's $4 on Prime Day.
Yeah,
I broke the last.
I usually always exclusively buy Amazon devices on Amazon Prime Day.
Oh, this wasn't even Amazon. This was just like Bean Envy. That's the brand.
Envy my beans.
Literally. That's like. I can do a whole episode on shitty marketing slogans. Because there's so many.
Oh yeah.
There is so many.
But that's all I really have for the topic. I don't like Black Friday anymore. I think the experience has gone away. I think it's
Yeah.
lost its like the charm of Black Friday. Like other than like the fucking fist fights in the store, like I think it used to be like a pretty fun experience to try to go out there and get your. And it was also an opportunity to truly save some money. And I just don't
Right.
feel like that really exists anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's not what it used to be. I don't think it ever will be what it was again.
No.
And just
Sad.
like again, like there's just not like try and think of the last Black Friday that you participated in where you got a deal where you were like, this was actually a really good deal. I can't.
I think there was one back in like maybe 2013, 14, because Carly bought a TV like back then, and she like really needed a TV for her room, and she got one for a pretty incredible deal. But again, it was like it wasn't like a Sony, you know what I mean? It was like an off brand that just happened to go down to like 50% off or something.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. No, it's like I can't think of anything incredible that I've gotten over the last. Sometimes I will say though that if for some reason consistently over time, I think video games and like DVDs have like always like had really good deals.
Yeah.
Like,
even though like nobody like
I would never buy a DVD probably ever again in my life, but
I have a PlayStation 4 and that is the only way that I could even play a DVD right now if I wanted.
yeah,
Like otherwise I have nothing.
yeah,
My $1,500 gaming computer does not have a disk drive in it.
nope.
My backup computer does not have a disk drive in it. None of my laptops don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing. Like,
Carly had to buy an external disc reader at one point in time for her Mac because she needed. I can't remember what she needed to use a disc for, but she needed to use a disc, and she's like, "God damn it, what am I gonna do?" She had to go buy an external reader.
I have one in my desk at work that the previous person who had my desk left there.
Nice.
So like, I have one if I need it, but I doubt I'll ever need it. I just don't have discs anymore.
Yeah, there's no need. This will be a funny segue too. Not segue, I guess, just tangent more than that. So we were looking. We buy a Christmas ornament every year, and we were just kind of like looking around to see if we could find one today when we were at the store. And Target had one that was it's like a VHS. I can't remember what the movie itself was. Doesn't matter, but it was kind of like a cracked open VHS case, and you could see like the tape in there. I was like, we have already reached the point in our lives when people are going to pick that up and have no idea what the fuck that is.
Oh yeah. Oh, I actually just saw a thread on Twitter about this. Like our generation, like if you really think about it, like we're the most unique upbringing. We know in like an era before everybody had a computer and everybody had access to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But we
I
also
didn't grow up
know
with the internet, yeah.
we also know the lifestyle that we have now where we're connected to everything 24/7. We were around when DVDs and VHS came out. And now there are people who don't know what that is.
Well, not VHS. I think came out before I was born.
But yeah, but like
fact, I
it was,
know it did.
but it was still like a newer thing. Like it was like
Yeah,
relatively new. Let me like I'm actually gonna look this up now because I want kind of curious about like when they.
But like my mom still played 8-track tapes when I was younger, right? Like so, I 8-track is. I saw the transition from the floppy disk to I always forget what it's called, but it was like the slightly thicker disc. Because like they started even having 2 slots on computers for a while, where you'd have your floppy slot and you're like the slightly thicker one, and it went from like 256 megabytes to like 512 or something like that. It was a pretty small difference between the two of them, but it had slightly more memory. And I remember that transition because it happened when I was in middle school, and so as opposed to like unique upbringing, I would change the terminology to just like the fastest transitioning, or the most transitioning of technology over the course of our lifetimes. For sure.
But yeah, like there's so many things, and like we've seen like we've seen the transition from box TVs to the thinnest flat screen TVs that you'll ever see. We've seen the transition from
video games only working on channel 3 and 4.
Yeah, from any DVD player, VHS player only working on channel 3.
Yep.
You know.
What the fuck's an input?
The red, white, and yellow cables. Like, if I showed that to kids now, like 16-year-olds, they'd be like, "What the fuck am I looking at?
Why is this not an HDMI?"
Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's pretty impressive, dude. Like even coaxial connections, like over. I feel like it's kind of crazy that some that cable companies are still using coax and haven't completely converted to fiber, because that's a pretty fucking dated technology if you want to talk about something that's been around for a long time. But
yeah.
Anyway, I knew that was going to be a tangent, and so we are going to rapidly run out of time if we don't move on to your second topic. So
True. All right, my second topic, kind of along like a pretty similar thought process, like with holidays. This is the time of year where it seems like there's holidays back to back to back. And shout out Happy Veterans Day to any veterans who are out there.
shout out
But what are
TYFYS.
Thank you for your
Thank you for your
service. I was
service.
like, what? Shout out again. But what are some holidays that you think are wildly underrated, and what are some that you think are wildly overrated?
I hate Easter. I fucking hate Easter.
Thank you.
But I'm also not religious, so there's multiple reasons why I don't like Easter. But even as a kid before I was non-religious, I would say that I hated Easter.
Yeah.
The Easter egg hunt is the only thing that is like fun about Easter, and that's only valuable as a child, right? So as an adult, that holiday is useless and probably really just a burden to you unless you really enjoy fucking putting candy or money in eggs and hiding them. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there are ways you can make that fun as an adult, but again, like everybody wants to spend it with their family. Like you're not gonna get 30 sets of couples together and do a wild Easter egg hunt with like shooters.
You could, though.
Hey,
You could. That's a great idea.
I'm just saying.
That would make the holiday better. I'd look
Right?
forward to that a little bit.
I'd much rather do that than like
Put
a
some like
typical
Jello shots
Easter.
and some eggs or something.
Yeah, like little shooters, Jello shots. You could do like, I don't know. You can still do cash. Like everybody pitches in like $100.
Yeah.
You stuff the eggs with cash, hide them.
I will say that I think Labor Day is underrated because it's always around my birthday, and I fucking love having that day off.
Respect.
But I think largely it's a useless holiday as well.
Yeah.
Because most people, like, conceptually, right, for a Labor Day, you'd think you wouldn't have to work. But I feel like very few people get to benefit from that.
I don't think I definitely have worked Labor Day. I should clarify. But like since I've worked a salaried job, I don't think I've ever had to work Labor Day.
The people that are doing the most physical labor probably don't get Labor Day off.
Oh yeah, no. Like when I worked in a warehouse, I still worked Labor Day. When I worked at retail stores or restaurants, I still worked Labor Day. Like, yeah.
The only thing that I'm otherwise very much Easter is mini Thanksgiving with gifts. Uncle, that's pretty true.
It's
It's like a blend
shittier
of Thanksgiving and it's like shitty Thanksgiving Christmas combined.
Yeah.
Easter sucks.
Yeah, 100%. No, you and I 100% same page there. Like, it's cool when you're a kid. As an adult, it's just a waste of a Sunday.
Yes.
I'd rather just have football on that day.
Yep.
Give me some NFL somehow on Easter Sunday.
I didn't grow up with like a family that went balls to the wall for any holiday. So I'd say most holidays are a little overrated to me in general, which is probably why I'm a little bit more of a Scrooge about most holidays. I appreciated the family moment, and of course you love the gift giving and receiving. Like it's a fun thing on the holidays that are about that. But for the most part, I don't know. The only other one that I would say is vastly overrated though is Halloween.
Yeah.
People really fucking blow Halloween up. You spend fuckloads of money on costumes and stuff. I don't really like to dress up, so it's just me being a grouch again. Like I know how I am, but I think Halloween's pretty overrated. I do appreciate it, but I live in a neighborhood where I can't take advantage of it. Like I appreciate like kids having a really good time and they get to roam around and get their candy and all that shit. But we live in a neighborhood where kids don't really trick or treat, so it's not that fun. So
Yeah, and I also think like the best part about Halloween is appreciating how hard some people go for Halloween. Like the people who come up with like really cool costumes, like that's cool to see, but that's like where it ends for me. Like,
and most people are going to Spirit Halloween that takes up a fucking building for 2 months out of the year, and then you spend $70 on some stupid quirky costume. I don't know. Halloween's
like
whatever
people
to
who
me.
like make their own costumes and like have unique costumes and shit, like that's cool. But like, oh, sexy nurse, sexy firefighter, you took a baseball jersey that you have and you put pants on. Like, you're real creative here, my guys.
Or you didn't put pants on.
Sexy baseball player.
Sexy baseball player.
That's another weird thing about Halloween. Like, why did everything had to get sexual? Like,
I mean, come on. I'm not surprised.
neither am I, but like, why? Like,
No
it was
girl wants to dress up as like a fucking like pussy worm or something. You know, I mean, like,
I'm not saying you have to get like gross or anything like that, but like my favorite Halloweens, I dressed up in a fucking chicken costume.
yeah. I think part of
Like,
the reason why I don't like Halloween too is because I'm a giant baby and like I hate horror movies, and that's like the season where everybody wants to just watch
oh, I
horror movies
love
all the
horror
time and shit.
movies.
So it's just I'm not fit for the Halloween season.
We went over that. If you guys haven't, you should go back and watch the episode where we rank scary movies, aka
Honestly,
where
you
I
should
rank
you just
scary
shouldn't
movies.
because it's just Jake's ranking.
Yeah, you should
Maybe
see
put it
where
on
I
2.5 speed and
yeah
just whip through that
see
one.
where I rank scary movies. Yeah, Easter sucks. I think 4th of July is overrated. Like I get why it's a holiday, but like the way that we celebrate it, I think is kind of dumb.
I don't know. I like 4th of July.
It's
I like
fun. Don't get me wrong, but
I
like
will say that I don't know, man. So like it happens at the perfect time of year, right? Where you get to go outside, depending on where you live. Like sometimes it's just really hot. Like here, it's absurd to go outside in July and do that. However, we can do like the 4th of July float, which I think is like the best. You go out and you float on the river, you cool down, you have your grilled food. Like I like 4th of July.
but see like that side of 4th of July, like the weather's great, like you can hang out with your friends and go drinking, but like I don't need to like see everybody just like
What are you, some kind of communist?
apparently
Don't like 4th of July?
shit. Like I don't know. I don't like people go too hard for like I don't need mortars going off in my neighborhood. Like if you
I'm
want
not a
like
fireworks fan, so that's fair.
if you want to watch like the fireworks displays and everything, like those are cool. I don't need to hear fireworks going off until 3 a.m. Like I'm drunk. I'm already kind of hungover because I stopped drinking at 12 and it's 3 a.m. and you're blowing off fireworks. Like
I'm with you on the fireworks front. The fireworks
Like-
don't do it for me.
it's still a really fun day, but I think people overrate it. If like I'm not
Dude,
saying I
I-
hate 4th of July.
I might actually be like getting convinced about how much I disagree with you. I think 4th of July is underrated because I think it's one of the few holidays where you're celebrating something outside of just like gift giving and
That's
you know
true.
nonsensical shit that is so
It's like-
trivial.
It's also like one of the few like non-religious holidays that like
Yeah.
people really celebrate. So I get that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm
People
even changing
celebrate
my
it
opinion on it.
inappropriately in
Yeah.
that like they don't really but that's every holiday, right? Like
Yeah, true.
giving presents on Christmas isn't religious, you know,
Right.
like getting eggs out of the fucking ground on Easter doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's just
No, you got a
so
point.
but I think 4th of July is great.
I think I'm changing my mind on 4th of July.
I love
too.
grilling, man. I love grilled
Yeah.
food. I love, you know, as long as you have a good group of people to celebrate that day with, it's just
True. Yeah.
you're out there free, man, having your grilled food, having a good time. I like 4th of July.
All right. Everybody
Glad I
convince
could
me.
convince you.
Oh, here's a fucking dumb one. Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
I don't need a day to like tell my spouse I love them. Like I do that every day.
yeah, and I think that's kind of what your anniversaries and everything are for. So I'm with you. I think Carly would disagree because it's so close to her birthday, so that it's very
Yeah.
tied.
Okay.
But then it's just her birthday to me, right? Like we're celebrating the birthday. Valentine's Day, I think the weird thing is, right, is like I think it's an opportunity to just like I can't say like bully, but like it's like this weird way, like it's kind of like bullying when you go like back to elementary school where like the nerdy kids would never get any Valentines and like it was like, you know, class it's
Yeah.
kind of sad, man. Like that holiday in general can be very sad. Even for adults, right? Obviously like people spend that alone and they see everybody celebrating all that shit around them. It's
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's a holiday that was made to make money. That's all it is.
It was, yeah. And again, that's how most holidays have transitioned. Like their opportunities for income,
Yeah.
but so be it. We live in a consumer world.
Yeah. And then an underrated holiday is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving food is my
Sure.
favorite holiday food. Like
Yeah, I
Thanksgiving
don't like
food
turkey.
we don't
I think
normally
turkey
do.
is overrated.
I agree with you.
on
And my
Thanksgiving.
family normally doesn't do turkey. We normally do like ham, or
Yeah.
if we go to my
don't
my
really
grandma's house for Thanksgiving, she does like Italian beef. So like
Shout out to my uncle in Texas. He gets a smoker out and makes like smoked briskets and shit on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and it
see,
is
that's-
so much better than fucking turkey.
yeah, but even like the sides are like people go all out for Thanksgiving sides, and I thoroughly respect that because like at Christmas that
We
doesn't
should just
happen.
like hot pause on the Thanksgiving food and wait until next week and we can talk Thanksgiving foods and what's the best Thanksgiving foods and everything.
all right, works
That's
for
gonna be
me.
a good one for next week. We'll have a good talk about that.
But yeah, Thanksgiving underrated, I think.
Is next week Thanksgiving? No, it's 2 weeks.
No,
Okay, perfect.
2 weeks.
So because we probably won't do an episode on Thanksgiving, I would imagine, right?
Is it actually? Yeah, because it's Thursday. So
it'll be
yeah, it would
Thursday.
actually be. Yeah, probably not.
I'll be
Huh.
around, but I
I
would
was gonna say
imagine that that's not
I'm
the.
actually probably
We
already
can
at
talk more about
Boston.
that as it
Yeah,
gets
we'll
closer.
figure it out.
But either way, we'll talk about Thanksgiving foods next week.
Yeah.
I'll write it down so I don't forget. I'll still probably forget.
Yeah. Uncle Kyle points out Sweetest Day. Yeah, that's another one that like came out of nowhere. I don't remember it being a thing, but it is.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like Valentine's Day Part 2.
I was really only thinking about like federal holidays, which I guess Valentine's Day probably isn't one of those. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've never heard of Sweetest Day.
Yeah. I think I don't even know what day it is. I think it's maybe it's the halfway point like later on in the year.
I'm trying to think of. I think
October
Carly
16th.
called Halloween. Or there was like a day near Halloween. It's like right before Halloween or something. Some people celebrate like there's some holiday that people celebrate right around Halloween, and I can't remember what it is. Chime in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Oh god, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Day.
All Saints Day. That's what it is. I don't know if you know anything about that, but I hadn't really heard about that until more recently.
I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is. All Saints
Maybe there's another
Day
one too. There's like a weird one.
is a festival which many Western Christian denominations celebrate either on November 1, the day after Halloween, or the first Sunday in November.
Yeah.
Hallowmas or All Hallows.
I feel like that's what it is. I've heard people talk about that, and I hadn't heard that until more recently. So, not relevant, I guess, to the conversation. But I just that's another weird one out there. All Hallows Eve might be it too. I don't.
Yeah, it's the same name. It's All Saints Day is the same as All Hallows
Yeah.
Eve. So
Sure.
but yeah, Sweetest Day. It's October
Halloween.
16th. That's all it is. I don't know. Again, it's something that like people came up with so they could brag about their significant other on Instagram again, as if they weren't
Good for
already
them.
doing that. Underrated holiday is I'm blanking on it now. Forgot what it was called. Oh, whatever National Donut Day is, really underrated holiday. That should be like a federal holiday. I want the day off work just to eat donuts. That's basically all I'm saying.
Did they pass the legislation to make the voting day? Sorry, I can't think of a better terminology than voting day. A holiday.
Election Day.
Yeah, there we go.
I believe
Words.
so.
Holy
I think
shit.
Election Day is a holiday now.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Is
Underrated
Election
holiday.
Day
There
a
you
federal
go.
Holiday. Agreed. All right,
Giving
I don't
people
think
the
it's
opportunity
been
to go out there and
passed, but
vote.
some states consider it a holiday. It's not a federal holiday, but it's a state holiday in a lot of places. Okay.
I thought they had made it a federal holiday.
I think there was talks about it. I don't know if it's actually been proposed, but it should be. Like, I mean, I've always worked at places, luckily, that they were like, yes, go express your civic right or civic duty to vote. Like, get out of here, go vote.
Yeah, sure.
It is snowing in Des Moines, Iowa right now, Kyle. How does that make you feel?
So glad that I'm not there. It's no secret for anybody that knows me that I never want to be cold again in my life. And if I could stay away from that, I absolutely will.
Random thought, because you just brought it up. Do you feel like you've ever actually found a point of like homeostasis where you're not either cold or warm? Like, do you think you've ever felt comfortable?
Yes.
I was thinking about it. I don't think I've ever felt like
Yeah,
comfortable.
absolutely. I feel pretty comfortable right now. Yeah.
No, I'm like, I was thinking about it even before like I had a fever where like my body's feelings are just like changing anyway. But I was like, I don't think I've ever like hit a point of like, oh, I'm good right now. Like I get
That's
cold.
so hilarious.
I get cold,
like,
so I put on
strange.
stuff to make me warm, and then I'm like, I'm too hot, so then I take it off, and then I get cold again, and then I get hot again.
I think my body would disagree because like even when I'm like comfortable, because I like being warm, I'd rather be just like super warm all the time. My body will just like start sweating, and I'm like, get over it, body, chill out, stop sweating. I don't care.
Deal with it.
I'm comfortable. Yeah. I don't know. I think I absolutely have definitely been comfortable before.
I don't think I
temperature-wise in
ever
my life.
have,
That's
but
funny, yeah.
that's another conversation for a different day. All right,
Well,
Kyle.
And really quick to chime in on what Logan just said in the chat there, not reminding him that winter is coming. I'm about to move even farther west, and so is Jake, even though he hasn't maybe fully admitted it yet. So when Jake decides to move there as well, because we'll be close to Dane, then alls will be good, and you can join us out there, Logan, and move out west and not have to worry about the terrible, terrible winters of the Iowa, Illinois area.
Hey, man. I want to.
Make it happen.
We'll see. We'll figure it out. Anyways, on to topic number 2 for Kyle, because we still have time.
We do still have time. And so my other topic that I had, and this will be completely dependent on whether you've seen several of these or not, but how familiar are you with like the HBO series, like the television series, like as a whole, like all the ones that are just that exist? Have you watched a lot of HBO television series?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, perfect. And then it opens it up for conversation. Talk to me about what your favorite HBO television series is, and then maybe we can branch out from just HBO. But I thought of this because I have one that I go back to all the time. I've seen it maybe a dozen fucking times, and I can't stop watching it. I will continue to watch it maybe once every couple of years for the rest of my life.
Can I
And
guess?
oh, I'm sure you'll get it on the first guess.
Is it Band of Brothers?
It absolutely is. I
Okay,
fucking
yeah,
love Band
same.
of Brothers.
That's
so
my number
much.
one. That's
And
also
so
like it's so good.
I I think it's interesting just from it formulates such a unique perspective where it gives you the the depiction of the events from an actor's perspective, but also goes back to the original people that are being represented by the actors and talks to the specific stories from them too. So I think I can't even talk about like how awesome that it is. Like it's an emotional series too, where you get
Yeah.
tied to the characters, and it's so good.
It does one of the better
It's just
jobs
so
too
fucking
of
good.
like blending the like war side of war and like the real side of war, like the
Yeah.
people, like it blends that better than anything I've ever seen.
Yes. You see the I just watched the episode recently where it's The Replacements is what the episode is called, and
Mhm.
it talks about one of the very opening scenes is one of the the real guys that served in the war talking about how I got to the point, I think pretty close to a direct quote is I got to the point where I didn't even want to get to know these guys anymore, and so I wasn't friendly to them because I didn't want to lose them. And so
Yeah.
like you said, it talks about the it brings in the true horrors of those types of experience as well as the brotherhood and the things that come along with that. So I think it's just an incredible series.
100%. In the chat we have the Pacific. Pretty
I
good.
don't think I've seen the Pacific.
It's pretty good. I wouldn't put it on Band of Brothers tier by any means. But same thing. World War II. It's just focusing on the war in Japan as opposed to the war in Europe. Sopranos.
that.
I think Sopranos like clearly has to be on the list there. Like
I've never seen The Sopranos either,
you need to.
and I've heard people always talk about how amazing it is, and I just never took the time to watch
It's-
it, and I do need to.
It's very good. I didn't like. I used to watch it with my parents when it was like airing live, and like I didn't appreciate it then. But like watching it as an adult, I definitely like it a lot more. Another really good one. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch The Wire.
I've seen the first season, and then I started into the second season, and I kind of lost a little bit of my, my investment in the series. But I did think that the first season was really good, and I had heard people for quite a long time talk about how great The Wire was, and I had to dive into it. And then I was like, man, this is pretty good. And then, like I said, I just kind of fizzled out for season 2 for some reason. I should go back.
Yeah.
Logan, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was going to bring that up as part of it because I think Game of Thrones was so close to being maybe 2 on my list behind
Yeah.
Band of Brothers until the finale, or really the final season. I was a little bit more of a supporter of the final season than anybody else until it got to the last episode or two, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening? But it's sad because Game of Thrones could have been one of the greatest of all time as well through HBO, and they just pissed it away. I'm curious what they're going to end up doing with the new series that's coming out. That's supposed to follow the Targaryens, so we'll see how good that is. Hopefully, it's not shit because I think that there's a ton of good backstory there that can be turned into a great series. But who fucking knows what they're going to do? It could be terrible.
Right. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Westworld?
Intermittently, I didn't watch. I was super busy around the time that it came out, so I just like it's one of those ones that's like it's on my list of things to watch, but I just haven't done it.
Yeah, Westworld was one of those ones that got really bragged up to me, and so I gave it some time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got to check this out." And I was like, "Man, this is a really cool like concept." And I'd watch a little bit more of it. I'm like, "Man, this is pretty neat." And then I just sizzle out, and I couldn't keep my interest. I had such a hard time maintaining my interest in the series. So I think conceptually it was really cool, but I couldn't keep up with it.
A show that I want to say it was an HBO show. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Curb Your Enthusiasm. I never got into it. Like some people talk about it like the funniest show that was ever made, and I'm just like I don't know. I like you kind of with The Wire, or was it The Wire? Where you watch like the first season and just
yeah, it was with The Wire.
Yeah, like I watched the first season and just not really a whole lot else. I'm scrolling through a list right now of like
Yeah, I need to find one because there's one that I'm blanking on right now, and I can see all of the characters. I can see everything, but it's not coming to me. But I just scrolled across another one. If people haven't seen it yet, I do recommend it. Mayor of Easttown was actually really good. That was a really good series.
Never seen it.
We
Barely even
binged
know
the
what
shit
it
out of
is.
that one. True Detective, I got really bragged up to me. I didn't think it was that great.
I thought it was solid, but not like outstanding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was just kind of like whatever to me. Okay, here we go. I finally found it. Words are coming back to me. Silicon Valley is probably my number 2 of all time. I think and I don't even know if it's still going or not. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think like the first 3 seasons of Silicon Valley are so good. I love that.
It was very good. I don't think the show is still going on.
It might be. I know it was still going when I stopped watching it because I was like,
I don't see a last episode date. Oh, well, the last episode it looks like was 2019.
Okay, so it is done.
I probably watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it. It was good. Wasn't like
I really like that. There's a scene, and I'm sure you could probably think of what the scene is, but there's a scene in that show where I laughed. I probably laughed the hardest I've ever laughed in my life at one of the scenes in that show. So I'll never forget that. I love Silicon Valley. But yeah, I thought maybe we'd have a little bit of contention there in terms of what we thought was going to be the best. But I think by far Band of Brothers is the best.
One that
is a shittier Seinfeld?
Probably Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think that's what most people probably. I think that's how most people would describe it.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what else.
Oz.
I heard good things about Oz, but I never watched it.
Never saw that one either.
Eastbound and Down is hilarious.
And then, man, yeah, okay, I've seen that. Yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Eastbound and Down is great.
Either the second best, competing with Silicon Valley, I think is where I just said that they are, or the third best of all time is Generation Kill, which I had never heard of.
Yeah.
I think it must have been just one that got completely grazed over for me. Also, I didn't have HBO growing up, so I've watched most of these as an adult. And like my dad had Band of Brothers on DVD, so I watched that on DVD.
Right.
But, Generation Kill is kind of like the modern Band of Brothers, where it's a depiction of, I think, the first Desert Storm.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I could be wrong exactly which point in the war that is, but it's talking about the war in the Middle East, and it's a similar concept where you're following like a small group of individuals that go through, and it talks about the actual true like the sufferings of war and like the adaptations of the enemy. Like it's a really good one if you like military style series. Not as good as Band of Brothers, not even close, but it is a really good one.
Logan, that's why I looked over there. I have like a bookshelf with DVDs on it off screen, and I was looking for the tin of Band
that's
of
exactly
Brothers.
what my dad had, the metal tin. Yep.
Let's see.
My dad also had the metal tins for all the Lord of the Rings movies, and he had he bought like the special disc set where it had the I'm gonna blank on what they're called, but when they're sailing up the river and the 2 giant statues that are holding their hands out, and I'm talking about, he had those like in mini version that were like the bookends for the series. It was
that's kind of sick.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
True Blood. True Blood was pretty good.
Never saw True Blood. We could sit and go through all of them, but my big thing was that I thought we were going to have a little bit of a debate over what the best of all time was. Which it sounds like some people definitely disagree with us. Like there's the Sopranos supporters in the crowd and everything too. But for me, it's got to be Band of Brothers.
I think there's a couple underrated HBO series that people don't talk about enough.
What's that?
Lovecraft Country.
Never saw it.
Very good. There's an author, H.P. Lovecraft, who's known for telling like tales of like the occult and like weird things like that. And it's basically like a segregated town in the South in the 50s. It's kind of plagued by all of his writings, for lack of a better way to describe it. It's pretty good. You have to kind of like, I don't say you have to like creepy stuff to like it, but like you have to at least like appreciate what's going on in it. But it's pretty good. Watchmen is pretty good.
I watched part of it. I never got too into it. I will say that the one that I missed and I completely forgot about it because I forgot it was HBO is Chernobyl. That series
I forgot that was
good.
It is good. I forgot that was HBO.
Good. That's top 5 for me for sure.
Sex and the City is probably in a lot of people's top 5.
Oh yeah, that's probably Carly's number 1.
My brain is like, again, like I remember it being a TV show when I was younger, but my brain thinks of the movies.
Yeah, that's how Carly, I'm sure, would actually. She probably would agree with that. I think she's more familiar with the movies than the show. I don't know how into the show she actually was.
Veep was pretty good.
I saw a lot of positive reviews about it when that was coming around, but I never watched any of that either.
It's pretty solid. It's not my favorite. Jess liked it.
I want to see what I just saw that Kit Harington just is in Gunpowder, but that they only did one season back in 2017, so it must not have been very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of design a lot of the HBO shows to be just like that one. Like Band of Brothers was just like the 10-episode miniseries. Like,
that's true. That's how Mayor of Easttown is. I would imagine they would never do a second series. It wouldn't make sense to, but it was good.
mm-hmm.
should watch that for
Successions,
real.
I've heard,
That's a
is
good one.
pretty good. Never watched it, but looks like
Anyway.
I'm just adding onto the already incredibly long list of things I need to watch. I need to watch
Yeah.
Ted Lasso. I need to watch so many things.
To me, I mean, honestly, like as kind of like a bottom line of this conversation is I think HBO does an absolutely incredible job of making original series, and it's a lot of people like will pay for HBO to watch the movies, but they miss out on a lot of the TV shows that are actually very, very good from HBO.
We should do a themed episode about that where we kind of just talk about all of the different like exclusive series, like Showtime, HBO series, Netflix exclusives, Hulu originals,
You can do that.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus, like all
Sure.
that stuff. Because I think it'd be really good to kind of compare them all and kind of see where we fall and like who's the
Get like a
best.
top 5 of the originals from each and kind of make a bracket head to head.
Yeah,
Debate it
yeah.
out.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Sure.
That's
we can do that.
That's gonna
Yeah, that's
be
good.
an episode in the future. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, great final topic. Great way to wrap that one up.
That's all I got, man.
Awesome.
Thanks everybody for joining us for another episode. Bringing the mustache back. Appreciate all the fans chiming in the chat, telling me how much they love it, because that's definitely been happening all episode.
It has. Can confirm 1,000%.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at Kyle and Herson, as you see on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and Jake at Jake Perry 34, also on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Other than that, we are at number 2 AVG Husbands on most social media, but you can also find via our link tree every single social media that we use. I've done a pretty shit job, admittedly, of keeping up on the Discord that I said that I was going to be a big part of. I've definitely had it. That happens to be like the same day that I'll just sit and do homework and stuff like that while I'm watching games. So it's been harder for me to keep up on that. But I'll try to get in there as much as I can. And either way, it's a good place to chat. You can also be in the Discord while we're in the episode. If you don't want to try to comment on YouTube, you can comment on the Discord as well. And we'll have that open and we'll chime in with you guys there too. So feel free to hang out in there. Other than that, I think I hit on everything I wanted. Thanks for another great episode. Jake, you can close this one out.
Yes, thank you everybody who tunes in every single week. Make sure that you do put a like on the video on YouTube. And if you listen to us on a different platform, make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you favorite the episodes. Make sure you like the episodes on YouTube, even if you don't watch them there. Just help us out a little bit, help us grow a little bit. We've had some pretty steady growth, and we'd like to see that continue to go. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We are giving away a t-shirt at 100 subscribers and another one at 250 subscribers. So get in there. We're at about 35, which is pretty good, consider all things considered.
It's going to be embarrassing if we have to talk about this for like 2 or 3 more years. We need some subscribers. Get in there, boys.
Like, just stay. I just need the subscribers to stay ahead of the episodes. Like, as long as we don't do episode 100 before we hit the 100 subscribers, I'll be happy.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
But as always, make sure you check us out and follow us on all of our social media. I will try and be in the Discord on Sunday. I don't have anything going on, so I should be in there if you want to watch some football and talk some football with us. But otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and don't forget to tell someone you love them.
Peace.